Hi, this is our episode on writing ads, how you use Google Ads extensions, and how you would optimize your search campaign settings within Google Ads. So here, if you didn't already know what a Google search ad looks like, at the top here is your standard search ad. So this is made up of a few parts depending on the campaign type that you're using. A search ad will have up to 15 headlines added to it with a maximum of 30 characters, but would only show a maximum of 3 of those. It can show 1, it can show 2, but no more than 3 of those headlines. You'd also add 4 descriptions with a maximum of 90 characters, and again, the maximum is 2 here, so it will show 1 or 2 of the descriptions that you've added to your ad. This depends, so if you've got Performance Max campaigns, dynamic search ads, a few other ad types that will run on the search network, they can show in different ways, but as you're setting up your standard search campaigns, it will be the 15 headlines, 4 descriptions. Within a search campaign, you are using what's called a responsive search ad, which is, as I said, 15 headlines, 4 descriptions, and it will automatically rotate through those, it will automatically A/B test those, and it will then prioritize pushing the best performing combo of headlines and descriptions. When you're writing your Google ad copy, you want to make sure that each of your headlines and each of your descriptions are as unique but still as relevant to your landing page and the keywords that you're targeting as you possibly can. You don't want them to be slight variations, so you don't want them to be just the same headline with perhaps one word as a synonym in the second headline. In your ad copy, you want to speak to the benefits and what makes your product or service different from everyone else's. Obviously, when you search on Google, you'll see up to 3 ads as well. So you want to make sure that you stand out. You want to make sure that you explain really concisely why you're better, what makes you unique, and why they should buy from you if you sell a product. You want to make sure that your headlines and descriptions include calls to action. So you want get a quote now, buy now, shop now, and you can just append these at the end of your description. So your regular, you've got 90 characters to use. At the end, shop now, buy now. It helps you use up more of your character count and as well as directs the person viewing the ad on what action you want them to take. You want to avoid repetition here as much as you possibly can. So don't have the same headline twice, don't say the same words in both your descriptions. You want them to be unique. As well as your regular search ad copy, Google has extensions which you can add to your campaigns. There are a bunch of different ones you can add here. Site links, callouts, structured snippets, ratings, image, business, logos, image assets. I might have repeated some there, but you want to fill these out. You want to use all of them. You want to make sure you take up as much space on search results pages as you possibly can. It pushes your competitors further down, and it also just means that you can have more information displayed to a user at any time. The site link extension you use to link to key pages on your website. So use that to link to FAQs, case studies if that's applicable, link to resources, and you can link to prices and feature pages there. Callout extensions they're a weird one to use. So they're just a word or a couple of words that appear below the ad. Usually here you'd want to link to selling points for your business or unique selling propositions. You can put free shipping here, you can put discounts here, you can say 20% off, you can say 3 to 5 day shipping, free shipping. There's really anything here, but you only have 15 characters here, so it has to be pretty concise. Structured snippets, so they use predefined headers such as services, brands, or types, and you have to find things that would fit with those categories. This is probably the hardest one to fill out because it's pretty rigid as to what you can put here, so it doesn't fit specific niche businesses or specific use cases. Call extensions, as I mentioned before, just allow people to phone your business directly. Probably not useful in most of the businesses that we work with, or most businesses, but if you're a service provider, if you're a tradesman or anything like that that requires talking to people over the phone, then this is super useful to have. And you can set up tracking for these as well, so you can optimize your campaigns based on phone calls. When you're optimizing your ads and when you're creating your search campaign, you obviously want to fine-tune who is going to see the search ad, and this is where you can use demographic targeting like locations, device and audience segments. These just improve who sees your ads. So as well as the keywords that they search to see your search ad, they'll also have to match these demographics here. Location targeting, super useful if your website isn't localized to every country. If you just run in the United Kingdom, you can just run in the United Kingdom. If you offer services that are specific to a region of the UK or any country, you can just run around London and you can just show ads in that one area. This is especially useful for e-commerce sites if you don't offer localized currencies, localized payment options, or localized languages on your website. Although sometimes it's still okay to run English websites in other regions. It's also super useful if you're running a service. So if you're a marketing agency that specifically works with companies in East Sussex of the UK, you can just target East Sussex in the UK. Device targeting, use this less, but you can choose which devices you want to appear on for your ads. So you get computers, tablets, mobile, and TV screens. If you're running an e-commerce brand, turn off TV screens, no one's buying through there. Tablets, sometimes reduce the bids there. So you don't have to say just all or nothing. You can add bid modifiers to each one. If you want to prioritize mobile, you can say you're willing to pay 10, 20, 30% more for a click on mobile. And if you don't want to show on computer or tablet, maybe your website's not optimized there yet, you can reduce there. So you say to Google, don't not show us on computers, but we're not willing to pay as much, so we'll pay 10, 20, 30% less. You can go up to 100% if you want to exclude areas. Audience segments their utility varies based on industry again, and based on how niche your product or service is. There's a ton of different audience segments you can use. Some are based on Google's estimate of the person's wealth, their jobs, their parental status, similar to how you would target audiences on Facebook, but to be honest, less accurate. Google obviously doesn't ask for this information directly, whereas Facebook does ask for marital status, and I believe you can add parental status and job status. Google's are estimates, so they're based on your search history, and they're not that accurate. It really depends. What you can do here though, instead of just targeting an audience segment specifically, is you can again add bid modifiers to these. So that gets rid of some of the potential rigid targeting from Google. So if you are looking for large employers, say you run a B2B SaaS, you can just say, oh, I'm willing to pay, and again, the bid modifiers work the same way as devices. So you can say 10, 20, 30% more of you're willing to pay 10, 20, 30% more for a click from a large business or from someone Google thinks is a large business. So a quick recap of this video, we covered what are RSAs, how to get the most out of them, what are the different extensions you can use and how to get the most out of those. We also went into some tips for writing ad copy, and then we also went into how you can fine-tune the targeting of your search campaign.